Good evening. Thanks for joining to Hull and Back for this opposition preview with Coventry City fan Mark Smith from Sky Blue Fans TV. How are you, Mark?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks, Nathaniel. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So, what I've been doing for these previous previews is that I ask the other fans whether the last season for their club was a good or bad season or not. And I'm a bit interested to hear what your view on this is. Coventry City finished 12th last season in the Championship, a bit lower than you were at some points in the season because it was a good start, I remember. Was that a positive season for Coventry City?
I think it was definitely a positive season. I think at the start of last season, I think you'd have snapped, a lot of fans would have snapped their hands off if you offered mid-table. It could have been better. Yes, we were at some points in the playoffs, and we're playing some really, really good football. We had some noticeable victories against Fulham, done the double over them, obviously now Premier League. Sheffield United 4-1 was a highlight as well. The away form wasn't great at the start of the season, but then kind of reversed a bit where home form wasn't as good and the away form started to pick up. But overall, a very good season. This season, we've kind of, at the moment, so far, we've kept the big players, the Hamers, O'Hares, the Gyökeres. Hopefully that'll stay the same by the time the transfer window shuts. Yeah, I mean, this season, I think it's important that I still feel that if we finish around that same position, I think it's still a decent season, bearing in mind that we don't have a lot of money to spend. We don't have a massive squad. So, I think it's hopefully this is a good opportunity to pick up some points on the road. It'd be nice.
Oh, I did forget again. We are proudly sponsored by Pearson's Bar and 6 Yards Out, which you can see on the lovely graphic. Well, I was going to ask about that slightly later, but I'll ask it now because I've seen, especially O'Hare was maybe linked to Burnley a lot. Just how important is it that you've kept hold of Callum O'Hare and Victor Gyökeres?
Yeah, I think it's massive for the club. I think Callum O'Hare is in the sort of 2 games we've played this season has been missed because his link-up play with the forwards is exceptional. He wins his free kicks in important positions. He runs at players, and opposition teams don't like playing against him. I think in terms of this upcoming match on Saturday, I don't think he'll be fit. I think he'll be probably fit, possibly the Norwich game the following week, which we'll have to wait and see on. Gyökeres, yeah, he's been brilliant for us in the games he's played this season. Scored a cracking goal at Sunderland, and yeah, I think he's a big player for us. I think his goals could be crucial. I think our problem last season was lack of goals from other positions, and I think Gyökeres is our top goal scorer last season, about 17 to 18 goals. I'm hoping that he doesn't get snapped up elsewhere because I think he's a quality player. He's not far off Premier League quality, in my opinion. I think he's still a little bit of work to do to get to that level. Yeah, I think it's important that we can keep up our best players fit. I think if we keep the core of those players fit, the core squad fit, I think we can sort of have a similar season to last season. I think at best, I would say a top 10 finish would be a really good season. I think my own gut feeling is I don't think we'll quite do as well this season, but I think we'll probably be around lower half the table, but we'll see. I mean, we only played 2 games. I'm a bit concerned with the number of games we're now going to have to catch up with, but hopefully, the players start to put a performance in. A 90-minute performance would be fantastic.
Well, we'll get into some of the transfers soon, but you said that top 10 would be the best position you could get. What are Coventry City missing between them finishing about mid-table and getting into the playoffs, possibly?
I think the key thing for me is the depth of the squad, the quality of depth. We've got 4 strikers. We've got Matty Godden, Victor Gyökeres, who are the main 2 strikers.
Those are good options.
Yeah, I mean Fabio Tavares. I think for me he's probably sort of next one up. Signed from Rochdale. He's done very well in the under-23s. He's scoring goals are fun. He made a few appearances in the first team last season, and he done well. He got some important goals for us. And I think he's a decent striker. Midfield for me is my biggest concern. I think particularly sort of centre midfield. Ben Sheaf has proven to be an outstanding sign for us. I was one of those fans who was a bit doubtful about him when he first signed because I felt he made too many mistakes. But certainly last season he was immense. His tracking back was superb. He just brings up an area of calmness to the team. And we don't have a really quality backup. Unfortunately, Liam Kelly picked up a hamstring injury in pre-season, and I think he'll be out for a while. So I feel that's a position needs strengthening. I think right back, Finkasi Dabo is our best player there. But, if we lose him, our backup players are okay, but not to the quality. I think Eccles is a decent sort of versatile player. He played at Sunderland at right back. Eccles, I thought he struggled a little bit. Todd Kane, who I think you'll probably know, being a whole player.
Yes.
I think
bit average for us, really.
Yeah, he started off well for us, but I think his form has dipped. I think his concentration at back from the games I saw last season at the CBS, his form did dip. His form regressed. He's fallen out of favour with Robbins, and I know Robbins is probably looking to move him on. So that's a slight area of weakness for us. We've got left back. Jake Bidwell will probably be starting on Saturday. We've got the guy from Crystal Palace, and I can't remember his name. Adramola, might be wrong pronunciation.
Adramola, yeah.
Adramola, yeah. I think he's got decent potential. We've got options at centre half. We've made a couple of signings. Jonathan Panzay on the season long loan from Forest, and a guy with Man City who's at Sunderland. The name, I think it's
Callum Doyle. Yeah,
Callum Doyle. Yeah, he was at Sunderland last season. He's come to us. He hasn't really featured much in the Championship. Obviously, very very early days. So, yeah, we haven't made. I mean, I think the key for us is we've kept our best players are still at the club. There's kind of been the, if we'd have sold an O'Hare or Jokeres, that would have been good money to pay, potentially strengthen up the positions. But no, I'm glad they're still with us. Haim has been kind of similar to last season. His link-up play is very good. His set piece are really good, but his defensive play is really poor. And it's very disappointing his red card, his second yellow at Millwall, because that for me was a massive turning point, which turned the game in Millwall's favour. So it's it's it will be about him for this game on Saturday, which is disappointing. But I don't think it's the end of the world. I think we've still got a pretty decent squad of players to choose from for this game.
So you've made 5 signings. Have you spent much money on those? Is this a sort of, budget-wise, is this something you would expect from Coventry?
Pretty much. We don't have oodles of cash. I mean, really, we only spend money if we sell players, and that's CC or not. And to be fair, we are quite a bit of money in debt, and we're not in a position to throw money at the problem. And I think that's sensible, personally. I think we did sign Casey Palmer for an undisclosed fee at Bristol City. I don't know the exact amount, but that's the only sign we've made. I mean, we've released a couple of players, Johnny Jones, Jordan Shipley, being the main two that springs to mind. They were kind of fringe players for us last season. I thought Johnny Jones done okay for us. I thought, and Shipley in a couple of games, but I think Shipley for me is a good League One player, and I think Johnny Jones was a little bit unlucky. He had a lot of bad injuries, but good to see that they're playing regular football in the League One.
The last signing you've not mentioned yet is Tom Costello. Do you know much about him?
Costello? No, I don't know much about him. No. So
Right. Well, I don't know either. So, I mean, the way you've been talking about it, are any of these signings going into the first 11, or is it just important that you've kept a similar 11 to last year, and that's why you don't think you'll finish much higher?
Well, I think we have strengthened. I think Panzo at the back has been a really good sign for us, not just defensively, but set pieces. He looks a threat. He looks like he can score. So I think Casey Palmer, I think the jury's a little bit out on him at the moment. I think the guy's got potential. I think with the right coaching staff, with Adi Vivash in particular, who worked with him at Chelsea, he could prove to be a really good signing. But it's still early days. Let's give the guy a chance and see what happens. I'm not sure we fit for Saturday. I've got him in my start 11, but as I say, I don't know what the situation is with fitness and that. So.
Right, here's a question from my boss, Ant. How has Gyökeres been, I assume, this season? And if I had to ask you for a yes or no, do you think him and O'Hare will stay with 1 week left of the window?
You can never say never. I'm fairly confident they'll both stay. I think Victor's been by far our best striker this year, not just for the goals he scores, but the way he leads the line. He's very strong physical striker, which is something we need. And he's very important for our season. He scored a lot of our goals. Scored 17 goals, I said earlier. So yeah, he's a massive player for us. Callum O'Hare, yes, he's a big. As I said before, his link-up play is really good. I think my only criticism of Callum O'Hare is his finishing. He doesn't score enough goals. He only scored 3 goals last season, which was disappointing. So we need more from him going forward. And I guess the irony is that had he been scoring more goals, he probably wouldn't be playing for us. He'd be playing in the Premier League, and I think that's the reason why he's still a Championship player. But nevertheless, a massive player for us, and important we get him fit as soon as possible.
I've also asked this to every fan about their manager and what you think, or if you think they're the right fit for the club. And I'm pretty sure I know the answer from you already, but how have you, or what are your current thoughts on Mark Robbins? Because from my perspective, over the last few years, he's done a fantastic job.
Oh, it's been a brilliant job. He's a legend at Coventry Football Club. Whatever happens, I think he's taken the club from, League Two, always the Championship in the space of 3 or 4 seasons. Not just Mark Robbins. I think Adi Vivash deserves credit as well. It's a team effort, and he's brought in some, like all managers, they've had some really good signings and had some really poor signings. But over his tenure since 2017, yeah, he's been brilliant for us. And I think the one big thing I can say about the team is the camaraderie, the team spirit is second to none. And that comes from the top, that comes from the manager downwards, and I think the players enjoy playing for him. That's in terms of the budget he's got to work with. He's a very shrewd operator, and as I say, the job he's done is remarkable. I'm just hoping that another club knocks on our door and wants his services, because he's been a brilliant manager. There's no doubt about it. I couldn't think of another manager. If you ask Pep Guardiola to manage Coventry City, I don't think you'd get any more out of the players than what Robbins does. That's the biggest compliment I could say about him.
Yeah, well, I'll bring up this comment again from Glenn Watkin, and he's agreeing with you that if he thinks Mark Robbins is one of the best managers in the Championship, which I would agree with, because not many teams or not many managers have taken a team from League Two up to the Championship, especially with the ownership issues and like the stadium issues Coventry have had over the last few years. It's a fantastic job he's done on the budget, as you said. And you would have to be worried about another bigger club perhaps coming in for him. So, and then let's have another comment. Alex Lancaster says, Whitto. I don't know why, but there we go. What else can we say? Well, I mentioned about the stadium issues. One reason why I know you won't want me to mention it, but you're currently bottom of the league, just having played 2 games. Can you give the listeners some sort of understanding on the pitch issues Coventry are having at the moment, because they've not been able to fulfil their home fixtures?
Yeah, I mean, basically, it kind of started in the summer with various concerts taking place at the CBS Arena, and then we had obviously the Commonwealth Games recently. They played quite a few Rugby 7 games. I can't remember the exact number, but I know they played quite a few, and that caused a lot of damage to the pitch. And basically, the pitch wasn't in a safe condition. I don't know specifically why it's not a safe condition. All I know is it wasn't a safe condition. And obviously, we've had 3 home games called off, which has been disappointing, not just for the clubs but for the supporters. We've been very patient. I mean, I'm a season ticket holder, and it's frustrating for me that a lot of these games are going to be now midweeks. But it is what it is. We're back next week. Pleased to say, next week against Preston. So I think it's just very, very important that the fans, get right behind the players. I'm sure they will do, and create, electric atmosphere and get some points on the ball. So let's see what happens.
Yeah. So who's to blame then for this? Because obviously this isn't an ideal situation for the club. I guess it was good that they had the Commonwealth Games there, but if it's left this situation, then whose fault is it really?
Well, both sides are blaming each other really, but I think, personally speaking, I think it's Wasp's responsibility that they're the landlord.
Is that the rugby club?
Yeah, Wasps are they run the ground, they've got ownership. We're just the tenants at the end of the day. It's I mean, at the end of the day, our season starts end of July. They knew that at the start, and it's very disappointing that the pitch is in an unplayable state. That's who I point the finger at, looking from the outset. But Wasps are saying the pointing fingers in our direction. So there's been a bit of a standoff. The only positive news I can say is there was a meeting a week or 2 back, and there was an agreement of money being spent on paying for the pitch. I can't remember if it's Wasps or our money. I can't remember exactly the scenario, but the important thing is we're back playing football, which is the most important thing.
So, especially this season, because pre-season was cut a week short because of the World Cup, do you think that the fact Coventry haven't played as many games and not for a little while, is that going to benefit them on Saturday, or is it going to hinder them?
Well, I guess time will tell once the game starts. I don't think it's great, to be honest, that we haven't played much football. I believe I think obviously Robbins has tried to play some sort of inter-friendlies and that, but it's not really like a match situation. So yeah, I think players will be champing at the bit though for Saturday. Another away game. I think from what I understand, Hull got a lot of players missing, so it's an opportunity for us to get some points on the board. I mean, we won last time out 1-0 at Hull. Obviously, Hull won the corresponding game at CBS, but with us being away again, I think we've got to look to target the 3 points. But what I want really is a 90-minute performance, because we should have got something at Millwall. We were 2-0 up, in control of the game, and then individual mistakes has cost us that game. So we need to concentrate. We need a 90-minute performance, and we need, it'd be nice to pick up a win for the season. Our first win of the season, hopefully.
Yeah, well, mentioning some of the players that are coming back, I definitely agree with Glenn Watkin here. Longman is class. That's a bit I do all the time. My boss, Ant, doesn't necessarily agree with me on Longman. But here's a question from Ant. Are there any players in the Hull City squad which you're worried about on Saturday? And you'll probably name them all, and I'll say that each one's injured.
I think the only player, I'm only basing it on, obviously, supposed highlights against the West Brom game. I thought that Estupinian.
Estupinian.
Estepinian. There you go.
Call him Oscar.
Yeah, I'll call him Oscar. Yeah, I think he looks a potential threat because from the brief highlights I saw of him, he looks someone with a bit of pace, a bit of strength, and he's got an eye for a goal. So I think he's going to be a threat from our point of view.
He's one of the only players that I would point out that is one of our quality players attacking wise that isn't injured at the moment, and of course being the top goal scorer at the moment, even without having a huge amount of chances, especially in the air, which he thrives off. And I think he's definitely the person to look out for on Saturday.
How would our whole line up on Saturday? Would they go 2 up front, 1 up front? West Brom.
Yeah, we started 3-5-2, but then that wasn't really working, so we've changed to 4-3-3, and the front three would look. Maybe Longman would start. He's just back from injury though, so maybe Randall Williams would start on the right, and then left wing we're playing 6'4" Benjamin Tete, which until the West Brom game where we got 2 assists and looked quite decent later on in the game, that hadn't really been working. But a big striker playing left wing is a bit interesting. And then it would be Estepinian up front, and then the midfield would be Slater, Ryan Woods, the new signing, and Alfie Jones, who is sort of a centre half but has been playing defensive midfielder the last 2 games because of Seri's injury. And then Ingram in goal, Fleming, Greaves, Figueiredo, and Louis Coyle. That's the lineup, which is quite a whole lot similar to what it would have been last year, except those 2 strikers up front. So, we were hoping that after a few matches, because this is the 6th game, that our squad would be stronger, but it actually got a whole lot weaker because of the amount of players we have out. Ant is asking, is Fleming fit now? No, he's not. So it'll be Callum Elder even. There's so many injuries, I'm forgetting them all. And lots of comments here saying Estepinian's the top goal scorer and that him and Tete are starting to find a bit of partnership. Tete assisted Estepinian twice for those goals. So I think those 2, especially Estepinian, are the big players for us. And then Glenn again is saying keeping Greaves is massive for Hull, and similar with like when I was talking to the Preston fan, keeping Jakobsen, a bit similar to Gyökeres really, the sort of Scandinavian thing and age and how many goals they've scored. So I think it's good that a few Championship teams are actually keeping their best players from Premier League teams this season. Can only be a positive for the league. And then we touched on our lineup. What do you think the Coventry City lineup is going to be for Saturday?
I expect it to be 3 at the back, 2 wing backs, 2 centre midfields. The one sort of number 10 and then the 2 strikers. So my team, I'd go Simon Moore in goal. I know he's had a couple of dodgy moments. I would still stick with him. I still think he's our best keeper. So I would put my faith in Simon Moore. My 3 centre backs, I'd go Panzo. I think McFadden is still fit, and I'd go Dom Heim. Dabo right wing back, and Bidwell. With no Gus Hamer in the centre midfield, I think he'll go Ben Sheaf and Jamie Allen as the 2 sort of midfielders. Depending on fitness, I think Casey Palmer would probably be in the team. And I'd go Gyökeres and Godden up front. So I would go attacking-ish side. I think Hamer being suspended is a blow, but it's I still think we've got enough players there to get a result, in my opinion.
I think Coventry have got a whole lot more of a chance without Tufan and Seri and those sort of people in our team. So do you think it'll be a repeat of last season with an away win?
Well, I hope so. Yeah, it'd be nice. But I'm under no illusions. There's no easy game in the Championship. You have to be on it from minute 1. You cannot switch off. So yeah, we're definitely capable of going to Hull and getting a result. Absolutely. Can we win? Absolutely. I think we can. We can get a result. But as I say, we need a 90-minute performance. We cannot afford to make mistakes. Hull, even though they lost 5-2 to West Brom, we've got some decent players going forward. So we've got to be on our A game on Saturday.
Well, I think maybe Coventry and Hull are in sort of similar positions where the strikers look good. I think Godden and Gyökeres is a very good partnership, and I'm happy with Tesse and Estepinian at the moment. But then we've not got Tufan or Seri and those sort of people, and O'Hare and Hamer won't be playing, and they're sort of the creative midfield players. So I'm thinking it'll be another. I've predicted a draw for all the first 5 games, and I'm going to go 6 in a row. I think it might be another draw because, well, you haven't exactly got the creativity, neither do we. But I think the strikers are good, so maybe they'll nick one. So I'm going to go another 1-1 draw. Ant has agreed with me. And yeah, he's gone for the exact same 11. And really, those are the only 11 players, except maybe Longman, who might start, that we rate because they're not injured. So yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be saying quite similar. So what's your official score prediction? Is it 1-1 or?
Well, you must listen to my podcast because I always go for draws as well in games. But I think on this one,
it's safe, isn't it?
Yeah, the problem is you don't get egg in your face. That's why I do it, and I get a lot of stick from my fellow Skype fans, colleagues for that. But I think prediction. I think we're going to win this. I think we can win this game. I think it'll be a 2-1.
Okay.
I think we need to start, picking up points and winning games, particularly away from home. It's important we get. We were a little bit unlucky to lose to Millwall, to be honest. It was only individual mistakes that really cost us that game.
3 corners you conceded from?
Well, we lost 3-2, and really the goals were. The first goal was a free. Their first goal was from a free kick. Simon Moore decides to come off his line, and nowhere near punching the ball, and it's just a free header. Their second goal, Sheaf gets caught going forward. They hit us on the break and they score. And in the third goal, we just defended too deep, and the ball fell nicely to their striker in the penalty box, and it hits in the corner. So it was disappointing goals, but the performance was really good, particularly up until certainly the first 30 odd minutes. We dominate the game, and we need something like that on Saturday. We need a 90-minute performance, though. We need it every game, of course, but I think it's a game. Looking at Hull, they've got a few injuries, as you've mentioned before. We've got to take it. We've got to take the game to Hull. They're of course they're a decent side, but we're a decent side as well, and there's absolutely no reason why we can't win this game. So I think it'll be a close game, but I think we can win 2-1.
Yeah, I think it could really go either way, especially with our injuries, and Coventry's still a little bit unsure, or an unknown quantity almost, because of there's only been the 2 games rather than 5. So yeah, I think it'll be another close one. So yeah, Mark, thank you very much for coming on. Where can Hull and Coventry fans find your content?
Yeah, so we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts. So we try and sort of mix up our content. We're doing a live YouTube show tomorrow with a couple of Hull fans as well, previewing the game. So you can listen to that on our Skype Fans TV channel, and on Twitter, on our Twitter page, which is at Skype Fans TV1. So stay tuned tomorrow, 7:30 PM for the Skype Fans TV edition of the Hull game.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming on. Thanks for listening. And to Hull and Back, we'll be back with our big preview tomorrow night, I think. And then just to finish off on a bombshell, Wally Daft says, have we got 11 fit players? Yes, but we won't after next week. They'll all get injured again, probably. So, yeah, thank you very much for listening. And to Hull and Back, we'll be back soon.